I don't understand the internet anymore. And I don't even know if this is going to work. Hoping this will work. Hello, friends. It's been a while. And hopefully this is working. I don't know. Apparently, apparently, YouTube changed all their little kajiggers. And so now it's like there's stream, and then there's webcam, and then there's manage, and then there's something else. And I literally don't even know. But like I have my webcam set up, like it's plugged in, but it's not registering. I don't know what's happening. But I'm also on my old laptop with my old webcam. Like my webcam is set up, it's just not not working. But like, can you guys hear me? Is it registering? Like, I don't know. Anywho, how's it going? Oh my god, it's been like a minute. And as you will notice, I am once again in a different location. But this time, this one is mine. This location is mine. And by that I mean this is my apartment. Baby's first apartment. I actually got into a program where I am basically it's a program for people who came from the shelter as part of a rapid rehousing. What is in my throat right now? I was actually choking before this started as if I had just been punched in the esophagus. But it was a rapid rehousing thing that I in the shelter. And basically, even though it's called rapid rehousing, it took like a year. And so after that, okay, this is complicated. I was in the trailer. And from the trailer back in like February, my parents moved from the trailer to a house that they had gotten in town. And obviously living with my parents is always super volatile. So right before all the Rona descended, I got the call that I had an apartment, but it was literally like the day of or like the day after I had quit my job. So I was like, cool. How? Like, how is that going to work? Basically, what it is I'm actually going to text my friend because he was like, what's your channel? Let me invite you to this train wreck. Let's see how well that one works out. Okay. So I had quit my job because no amount of money is worth my mental health. I had just gone back from leave. I had been there for a total of 3, count them, 3, I'm not exaggerating, 3 days. But my check reflected I had worked 28 hours. McDonald's math. So I had been there for 3 days. And same harassment from the same people. I just was not willing to play that game. So I dipped. And that was literally the best choice I could have ever made. So I get this call from the coordinator of the housing situation. And she was like, hey, we have an apartment. And I was like, LOL, that's cute. I quit my job. How's that going to work? And she goes, so you remember that we told you about the PATH program that, oh, you guys don't, it's so good to see you guys too. She's like, do you remember we told you about the PATH program that is designed for people who have advanced sadness. Uh, we want to put you in the program. Like, we have an opening in the program. And I was like, girl, what? Basically, the PATH program, I don't know if they have this everywhere, but here in the Valley of Hell, they have this program where you're housed in an apartment that's this, and you have there's some apartments that are bigger and some that are smaller. There's like studios. I'm in a 1-bedroom. I literally cried when they showed me because I was like, what am I going to do with all this space? It's a lot of space, especially when you go from living in a tiny ass little trailer. Oh yeah, by the way, I swear, guys. So I went from going in this tiny, tiny, tiny little trailer to having a whole 1-bedroom. I'm sitting in the actual like bedroom, but like it's boxes. I use it as a storage room. And then it has like this area is a closet. There's a bathroom, with a tub, which I'm much excited for. And then because I have like a stupid amount of bath bombs and like where was I going to use them in a trailer? And then I have all of like my bed and stuff out in the living room that I use as like a loft style. And basically what it is you have a case manager who's kind of like a social worker, and they work with you. They get a lot of to address the who pays for the rent and other utilities. Good question. So for my situation right now, I'm on a 0 income plan, I guess. So you work with your case manager, and my case manager is also in communication with my therapist. And so they kind of communicate back and forth to determine the best course of action for my situation. So for me coming into it, I was automatically put onto a 0 income because I had 0 income. But then once you gain an income, you then pay 30% of your income. I'm not going to do the math because I literally can't. But they also help you kind of figure out, like, if you make $500 a month. There's some people here who are on A&D, so that's aid to the needy and disabled, or adult needy and disabled, depending on what social worker you talk to, and that is $217 a month. So there are some people here who get that aid. That's $217 a month, and then they pay 30% of that, and that covers your rent, your utilities, that whole shebang. The A&D is actually like a bridge payment for people who are applying for disability and things like that. So hopefully that is coherent. So you come in, either you have an income or you don't. It doesn't matter because it's a government program. So if you have an income, cool, you pay 30%. If you don't have an income, that's okay. They cover that for you, and then you work towards employment goals, which I'll get having a stroke. Get to that in a minute. So, with all that being said, I have felt like trash over the last 2 months that I have been here, and I definitely brought this up to my caseworker because I kind of felt like, even though I'm living in my own apartment, I still feel like garbage because I don't feel independent. So it's like, cool, you have your own place, but you're not contributing to society. So literally, like, what is the point? So I talked to a couple of people about like volunteer opportunities, but the Rona. So that kind of sidelined everything. But then, you guys, I swear your 30s, it's like a bridge to all the good things in life. Just hold out in the 20s because the 30s is where it's at, y'all. I got a call from my caseworkers at Voc Rehab, Voc Rehab. I can't explain Voc Rehab because I don't totally understand it, but Voc Rehab was like, hey girl, do you want to run a business? And I said, huh? And they said, so we have a program to help people develop their own self-sufficiency through small business ownership. Would you like to enroll? And I said, yes, I would. Because I have been sitting on ideas for 5 years now of just greatness. Greatness. And I'm like, owning a business is is expensive. And I was like, I literally how's that gonna happen? So that's kind of my goal right now is opening my own business. I'm telling y'all, the 30s is where it's at. My 20s were garbage. For those of you who have been playing along for quite some time, my 20s were trash. I spent most of it over medicated, and for that reason, I don't remember the majority. So, yeah, it's not a good time. To address the red hair situation, it's box dye, y'all. It's box dye. I box dyed my hair. And here's the reason. Okay, so there was a situation at my parents' house, literally the day I got my keys. You can see my train of thought is just way over there. The day I got my keys, which was March 11th, there was an incident at my parents' house where things escalated to the point that my dad attacked me and broke a door in the process, and he yelled at me and told me, "You are retarded." There's nothing more dehumanizing to the 11-year journey I have been on in sustaining my mental health than hearing those words come from my father. So, I will now be legally changing my name. So if you see me bopping around the internets as Saoirse River, because nobody seems to know how to pronounce it, and it's okay. If you see the name Saoirse, it's me. I chose the name Saoirse because in Irish it means freedom, and it is freedom from my past, it is freedom from my parents, it is freedom from all of the abuse, and river because they are places of growth and change, and that is what I aspire for my future. I sound like a hippie, and it's cool, man. It's cool. So that is in the process. So you will probably never again hear, hey guys, it's Jess. But everything is still hot garbage. You're welcome. So that is also in the process. There was a point to that story, and I already forgot. Where was I going? Off a cliff. That's where it was. Just the train of thought into the trash. Yes, Saoirse. That's what it is. Oh, the hair. That's right. So my sister, her baby daddy, and her 2 kids came down from Denver because reasons, I don't care. And they moved in with my parents, and it was already a train wreck. So after I had left my parents' house, I saw my sister working at a local grocery store. My sister, when she got into town, she had like brunette hair with like blonde streaks in it. And then when I saw her at the store, she had red hair almost identical to mine. And I was like, girl, I have looked like a mixture of a Doritos bag and a carrot for a hot minute, and you will not take that from me. So I decided that I was going to reclaim my identity by dyeing my hair. I basically am taking anything that feels triggering to me and completely flipping it on its head. Reason being, in my time spent here, because for the first little bit I didn't have internet, and clearly I do now. So for the first little while I didn't, and I spent a lot of time listening to podcasts, that I would go out and jack Wi-Fi from coffee shops and library and whatever, and I would download podcasts and I would listen to them, and I spent a lot of time self-reflecting and thinking and just kind of trying to understand things within myself, such as why I have a crippling fear of vegetables. That was a good one. That needed to be addressed. And the reason for that is when I was a kid and my dad would make our plates, he would at the very young age of like 7, my dad would make these like heaping man plates for a very very petite 7-year-old me and expect me to eat the whole thing. And he would say, "Oh, well, if you don't eat it, then you're going to get beat, or you're going to sit there until you do, and if you throw up, you're going to eat that too." And it was just a very threatening situation. And so I've never really had a healthy relationship with food in general, but specifically vegetables, because that was the thing that got piled. And so I came to the realization I have a crippling fear of vegetables. So that's cool. But it, again, went back to the name thing and realizing that my full legal name was actually a trigger for not only my anxiety, but also my PTSD. And I was like, why am I so uncomfortable every time I see it, every time I hear it, every time, even just in the doctor's office, if I hear my last name, I'm like, ugh. So I decided I was going to change that. And when I saw my sister pop out of the produce department, because that's where she works, pop up out of the produce department with red hair, it felt threatening to my identity as a ginger. So I changed it. Not that you can tell because my hair grows out auburn anyways. So in some lights it looks darker and in some lights it looks red. So it just kind of is what it is. And it's super long. I just spit literally everywhere. It's super long. Like literally. You guys remember when I had extensions last year? Did I film when no, not last year, the year before. Did I film when I had extensions? When I went to Vegas a couple years ago? Does anybody remember that point in time? I don't. So I had extensions a couple years ago, and they were like to the middle of my back, and like my hair is just, it's out of control. Part of me wants to cut it. Part of me looks back on pictures of me with short hair and is like, girl, don't. And then part of me wants to shave half of my head for reasons unknown. And it's a good thing all of the salons are closed and I have zero access to cash, because bad choices would certainly be made. Yeah. Also, it disturbs me to an elevated extent that so many places are opening back up right now. Like tattoo shops are opening back up. There's already one on my street that's opened back up. Restaurants I can understand because a lot of them are doing takeout. And then like some of the stores are starting to open back up, but it's just like, I'm gonna let y'all be the test subjects because I'm immunocompromised and I'm not for this. So thanks. Also, Clover is doing super well. According to her vet, her birthday is on or around April 4th. I don't know. Maybe it could be. I don't know. But her adoption day is coming up in June, baby's first birthday. As you can see, her lovely little cat tree, baby's first Amazon purchase. I felt like a grandma with an iPhone because I literally never bought anything off of Amazon before. And the first thing I bought was a cat tree for my child. So it's Chloe. Hi. She's not feeling well. I'll be totally honest. She had surgery this week to get fixed. So she is kind of in recovery mode. She is starting to play a little bit more, but yeah, she is very much loving having space again. There's in the kitchen, maybe I'll do like a house tour one day, but like I super don't want to be like, hi YouTube, welcome to my apartment tour. It's so lame. But in the kitchen, there's like a gap between the top cabinets and the ceiling, and so she'll jump like on the counter and then on the fridge and then on the cabinets, and she'll sit there and like watch me cook or watch me do this. And then there's also the windowsills are wide enough that she can lay down. The one in the living room, she has her pet bed, so that's kind of where she hangs out most. And then I got a recliner, and so she likes to nap there too. I got the recliner for myself. I've sat in it twice. um, but there's also a cat that lives next door. And then the cat comes to like visit, and they get along great, and it's super cute. So that's fun. Hello, I want to hear you say hot garbage. You missed it. I already did. Do you still not date? Actually, I don't. I choose not to, for the shrimplest reason that my brain is. Have you guys ever seen videos of Halloween Horror Nights? It's a lot like that. It's a 7-layer bean dip of emotion, and I don't feel it's appropriate to subject other people to that. Now, that being said, I do talk to people, but I let them kind of decide where it goes. Like, I'll give them the information and just be like, oh, hi. So, here you go. And then kind of let it be what it is, but I'm not gonna go into stuff with the intention of being like, this is a dating relationship and it's totally gonna work out, because that's super unrealistic and definitely not healthy. And then also, I don't want people to think that they have to stick with me because they feel obligated to, because I'm sick or whatever, because again, not healthy, not about it. So I'm definitely not about that either. So yeah, I choose not to. I have people, I have guy friends, I have people that I talk to, but I don't actively date, if that makes sense. Also, I'm a hot mess of a person, so I'm sorry, but like it just does not feel appropriate. Um, but like if the right person came along and was like, "I'm willing to jump in this fire with you," cool. Um, but I'm not holding out expectations. That feels weird. Um, where am I living now? That was previously addressed, so you might have to go back and rewatch this. Any other questions from the class? Anybody? 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 No? Okay, cool. Also, um, does anybody else find the unpacking process to be disturbing and overwhelming, and you just kind of leave boxes packed for like literally forever? Because I do. Thank you, Wendy. Oh, you're so sweet. I miss you. I really do. I miss you guys. Okay. Over the last like 6 months from December, what month is it? May? December. It has been a roller coaster. Like literally from leaving the halfway house, and that lady is, she's insane. All right. Let's just put that out there. And if I, as a professional mental health patient, am telling you that you have literally lost your marbles, there's something significantly wrong. She's crazy. She's like actual crazy. And it just, I don't know, it disturbed me greatly. And since then, like I've seen a couple people from the house, and I think most of the people that are still there are kind of there out of necessity because they don't have anywhere else to go, which is sad. Um, and it really does break my heart because these people, for the most part, I think are good people, and I think the program has good potential, but I don't think it's being done properly, and I don't think that she is a safe, healthy person to be around. She needs help. Um, Telling people that EMDR therapy is akin to demonic possession, girl, what? Burning people's property because you don't agree with it, girl, bye. Um, it just it makes me really sad, and I feel bad for the people who were there. And I've had a couple of cops ask me, um, because a lot of them know me from like my time at the house and like them always being there. Um, they've asked me like, what is that place? And I'll tell them like, it's a cult. That's exactly what it is. But when you're only paying $300 a month, um, it kind of makes sense that you would stay there out of necessity. But also it makes me wonder, like, there's so many people that, like, even out here, like the shelter that I stayed at, stopped taking people during the pandemic because it was detrimental to the situation, and like they were already at capacity, like they literally couldn't do anything else. So it became a significant issue, and I was like, well, dang, if like the shelter is not taking people, like it must be serious. But you got to think, like, so the back house that I lived at, there was my room, there was another 1 bedroom, and then there was a double bedroom. So that was at least 4 people, and she was known to cram as many people in a house as she could. So you have a minimum of 4 people living in a house that really aren't able to social distance, because then she also had these mandatory house meetings. So you got to think, like, when you have these people in these close quarters and they're not able to, physically distance themselves, and they're having to like share everything and not really, be in the safest situation, like that's kind of a crisis that she's probably having to handle herself right now. And like a lot of those people are already immunocompromised anyways. There's a lady that lives there that like she has cancer. Like, how is that working out? She's super immunocompromised, and you're forcing people to have a round table once a week. Like, you're literally forcing people elbow to elbow, and for what? Like, what's the purpose of that? I don't understand. Um, but then leaving that, having to go back to the trailer and just being like, I'm going to die here and I do not care, like whatever. That was rough. I never want to see another RV as long as I live. I never want to live in another trailer. I have seen a handful of really nice RVs, and I have seen a lot of nice tiny homes. And eventually at some point I thought, oh, I'm gonna, live in a tiny home and it's gonna be super cute and whatever. And like that dream has been murdered in cold violence because I would never, I can't. I can't. It's just I can't. I just can't. Like the thought. Oh no, like living in small quarters. No, like a small apartment, sure. I live in one now. Um, Maybe a double wide, definitely not a single wide, but I would never again live in a camper. I just no. And then living with my parents, I have not even spoken to my parents since I moved in. And today is Mother's Day. And if that is any indication of how toxic my family situation is, there you go. Also, like my dad's birthday passed, Ishka's birthday passed, my mental health anniversary passed. Like I had all these different like things happening, and there has been no contact. So that's cool. And then my camera that I bought a couple years ago, my mom stole, so I now get to sue my mom for my property. That's awesome. Um, So it's been wild. And not being able to talk to you guys has sucked. And then I'm sitting here and I'm like, I literally just sit in a room, usually on the floor, talking to a camera like a psycho. And then nothing comes of it. Like I'm sitting here and I'm like, nobody cares. But then there's people who still like reach out on Twitter, and I started TikTok because I'm a garbage person. A boomer in training, if you will. And like there's people who still want to like reach out on that, and it just, I don't know, it's so heartwarming that people still want to like reach out and still want to talk. And it's just, oh man, it really does hit me in the feels, because it feels like I am building like a little community here and a little like found family. My family is trash, but the family that I am creating through this community is so important. And it just, uh my feels. I'm gonna cry. I can't afford to dehydrate any further. Um Anywho, so let's see. Would you date a Hispanic person? I already have. He was a raging alcoholic, and he's 94% of the reason I stopped dating. Um, did you get your stimulus check? I did, and that was actually what uh helped me get Clover fixed. So that was super helpful. I had to take a taxi out there, and it was kind of expensive. But that actually helped me get Clover fixed. And then I was able to get some, I consider them luxury necessities. So things like I bought a coffee maker for like $10, and I sat there crying because I was like, it's $10. Like, it's so much money. But I bought a coffee pot because I enjoy having coffee. Um, and then I bought a radio in attempts to contact the outside world, as if I was going to do some like tinfoil hat situation with that. Um, and then I did some online shopping. So my biggest thing right now was actually, and I told them this when I came in, was focusing strictly on my mental health and strictly on stability. Like that is my goal. If my bills are taken care of and my cat is taken care of and everything monetarily is handled, and that opens up the ability, this amazing, gracious opportunity for me to finally focus on just fixing my brain after 30 years of trauma on trauma on trauma, I'm gonna take that opportunity. I feel like trash because I feel like I'm just leeching off the government because I'm in a government program for housing right now, but I've been given such an amazing privilege to be in a position where I can just focus for the first time in my life, just focus on my mental health. And so I decided to start back up with my little mail gifts, I guess. Sending little note cards and bracelets to friends and family, and focusing on things that bring me happiness and joy. And it's me time, y'all. So I bought, like I said, the cat tree, which was kind of a necessity, but kind of a luxury for Chloe. And then I bought some beads and some charms and things like that so that I could make some little bracelets to send to friends and things like that. Which things like that really do soothe my anxiety for some reason, and I would love to know why, but I don't understand. And yeah, that helped a lot, I think, for sure. And then also doing things like this. I got this a long time ago. I don't remember where I got it, if this was at Five Below when I was in Florida or if this was at Barnes and Noble, but it's 642 Things to Write. One of these, it's like a prompted journal type thing, by the San Francisco, still having a stroke, by the San Francisco Writers Grotto. And each page has like a different thing, like a different writing prompt. And so random page, flipperoo, that's a rubber band. So like on this page it says write a children's story set in the woods. So sometimes I'll just sit and I'll write, and it's really soothing. And then I got this from, I don't know, probably the Dollar Tree, most likely. It's a color by number. I like to do these with gel pens because I feel like it just is more soothing. But basically it has all of the colors at the bottom, and then you just fill in the corresponding kajiggers with things, and you do the diddly doos, and it turns into a picture. My explanations are just take notes, y'all. And then I also have these. These are all old. Like, these are not new. I have Wreck This Journal, the original, and then Rip It, Write It, Draw It, which is like a knockoff version, I guess. But both of these have been super helpful. So those are just some things that I've kind of been implementing in like my everyday life to kind of break up screen time, and then also kind of focus on my brain. It is sick. It needs CPR. And I'm doing the best I can. So let's see. I love how someone like asks a question and makes a comment, and I'm just like, let's dive off this. Let's see. Yeah, packing, unpacking. I didn't even get to pack any of my stuff. My mom, basically, she brought everything. She brought a handful of things over in like trash bags, and then I had to hire a guy from Facebook to help me get the rest, and it wasn't even the rest. I have to sue my mom for the rest because my mom is trash. Let's see. I know, it's so good to see you guys too. I'm literally like, I don't even know why I'm like so emotional, because I feel like it's not even one of those like I'm YouTube famous. But like that Graveyard Girl video, I went through and I actually privated a lot of my like more ranty videos because I was like, my life is a dumpster fire. What am I doing? But on that video, it literally is currently sitting at like 98,000 views. And I was just like, somebody probably sat there and just refreshed it a bunch so they could hate watch. It's not that exciting. Like, I feel like most people would be like, oh my God, I got 98,000 views on that video. And I'm just like, nobody likes me. It's fine. Let's see. Also, no contact with my mother at the moment, so today's special for me as well. Girl, same. And you know what? I feel like Mother's Day, Father's Day, things like that, these like Hallmark holidays, they can bring a lot of emotional stress to people, but at the same time, I think that they can also be a reminder of embracing your found family. And that's such a big thing for me right now, is embracing my found family. So like my best friend, who is definitely like a sister to me, we were talking at like 1 a.m. and she was telling me about like this house that her and her husband had found, and like I'll send her like random TikToks that I find that are just absolute garbage. This guy was like, lately I feel like life is like fake pockets. And I was like, same. Life is exactly like fake pockets. Let's see. You are so genuine on this platform of fakers. I only have one working eyeball and it just wanted to work. I really respect you opening up about your struggles, and it means so much to those of us having issues too. Oh, thank you so much. I see stuff like that, to me, is more important than literally anything else. Like, I could make merch and sell it. I would not feel the same way as reading comments like that. I could make money from AdSense and I would not feel the same as reading things like that. Like, literally reading things like that that are not only affirming to like what I do, which literally feels like I'm not doing anything, but also seeing that like what I'm doing is helping people is super affirming. The whole thing, this whole channel started when I was in college in like 2014, 2015 as a way for me to express like getting back into treatment because I had taken a break. And I wanted it to show the journey of somebody who's actually living with a real diagnosable, I have papers mental health issue rather than a self-diagnosed chicken nugget sitting on her kitchen floor crying. So I wanted this to be something that was real and something that people could look at and be like, yeah, that's awful, but also, wow, that's cool that you can like build yourself back up from that. And it's, I don't know. I wanted it to be something and I didn't know what, but I guess wanted to document what I was going through, and I didn't do a very good job. But things like that are just super affirming that I made a good choice in deciding to share that with the world, because it definitely did not always feel like the best choice. Um, it's been terrifying. It takes a lot to kind of put the most vulnerable parts of yourself on the internet, and the most emotional, gut wrenching parts of your existence, like the absolute worst parts of you on the internet for the whole world to look at. But at the same time, it's like nobody's talking about it. You know what I mean? Like, if I don't do it, who's gonna do it? Who's gonna open this door for the conversation if not I? That's not English. It's not even French. Let's see. Hustle those headbands. Yeah, so about that. My lease actually says I can't make money from home. So that's cute. Um, so basically, I kind of have to put that to the side. I can't have an Etsy shop right now or anything like that, but I am fully intending to have a website up and running when I open up my business. I don't know when that's going to be. I'm hoping by the end of this year, but I'm also not holding my breath. Um, one, because I'm fat and I can't, and two, because it would just, to put all my eggs in one basket has never proven to be a positive situation. So like, why would I do that? But I will definitely keep you guys updated through all the things. Probably over on TikTok. That's kind of where I'm at right now in life. It's great. The fact that all of the 30 somethings have taken over that app is just giving me life. It's, oh, I love it. I love it so much. Um, let's see. So yeah, that's where we're at uh in this journey. I don't really know what's next, but I think that's kind of a good thing right now. Um, let's see. Oh yeah, definitely in a much better spot than I was with the RV. If that RV just like spontaneously imploded, that'd be cool. Okay, so I'm actually going to show this comment. It was actually held for review. Okay, so let me explain this, because I had to ask, because I didn't understand it either. Why would they care if you make money at home? That is stupid. I agree. However, where I live, okay, is above a store, specifically a thrift store that is operated in conjunction with the shelter that I stayed at. So when people, let's say you have a side note real quick, to get into this apartment, I had to sign at least 8 pieces of paper stating I would not operate a meth lab. And I'm just wondering, Who did it? Who made that a necessity? Because there was somebody. There was somebody at some point that did the stupid, and now they had to make it a thing. So you have to sign a minimum of 8 pieces of paper stating you won't operate a meth lab. I can't even cook mac and cheese correctly, and you think it's fine. So let's say somebody has an Etsy store. Let's say I was selling my headbands, right? They don't want people to think that somebody with an Etsy store above the shop is somehow related to the shop. Also, it's because we are all of the tenants are part of a government program. They want to make sure that they have eyes and ears on everything happening inside the building, so that, not in like a creepy way. We don't have like cameras in our apartments, but we do have cameras like in the hallway. They want to make sure that they can control the safety aspect of like what's happening. So if somebody was selling like candy apples, they want to make sure they're not sending out poisoned candy apples, I suppose. So that being said, I didn't fully understand it at first either, but I came to understand it as basically, because I live above a store, I cannot home operate a store. That's basically the gist. That is the point. Is that I can't have it. Am I okay? I cannot operate an Etsy store out of my apartment. Loophole, I can operate an Etsy store out of a studio if I paid studio rent. But that's not my intention. Let me tell you what my intention is for my business: skincare. That is all. I refuse to put my business plans out there until I have patents, because the last person that I told my plans to ended up stealing them and started her own business. Thanks, Cheryl. So I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to put myself in a situation that is going to potentially harm my business. I'm going to kind of hoard my ideas and protect them. But I do have the intention of making and selling skincare products. So I think that would be super interesting. And then I could include little headbands, little homemade headbands. That would be super fun. So in the meantime, for those of you who have been here for a while, and have been super supportive and amazing, and I just love you so much. If you guys would like to be on the receiving end of one of these little cards, one of these little bracelets that I'm planning on sending out in June, maybe, let me know, because I have some cards that I'm sending out to friends and family, and then some bracelets and things like that. And they would be free. It's not like send me $1, get a bracelet. These would be free, just fun little gifts for supporters and things like that. I think it's fun to send people things and to give back to people who have been there for you and supported you. So yeah. There's that. Also, I really like putting my address on things, but for those going out to like subscribers and stuff like that, I probably wouldn't. But it would come from Lacersha. Oh, that's a cute name. It sounds very Alabama, but it's cute. So that's it. That's all I have. Last call. Anybody in the room? Any questions? Anything? I am wrapping up something before an hour and a half is up. You guys, I might not be okay. Anybody else? Last call? Anybody? Anybody at all? Cool. We're going to end this. If you guys would like to contact me, most of my handles are still the Jessalyn Official. Most of my handles are still attached to the Jess name, but they will be sliding over to Saoirse River. So if you see that, don't be alarmed. It is me. Last time I checked. TikTok is at Saoirse. It might be. Shoot, I don't even know. Yes, it is at Saoirse River. That is where I have been updating most things over the last couple of days. So if you want to see some tiny vlogs and keep up with me as if I have some relevance on this planet, that is where you can find me most of the time. Twitter is questionable at most, but that one hasn't been switched over. I don't even use that. Why do we even have a Twitter? And then if you would like, thank you, Wendy. And then if you guys, oh my God, that's a lot more than I thought. Jesus Lord, child, you might want to put a cancel on that one because that's a lot of girl. Anytime something like that happens, it's like my brain just like turns off for a minute and it's like numbers. Do you remember what those are? Those little symbols? Dyslexia. Good on you. Thank you so much for sure. Definitely send me your address and I'll be sending you a bracelet. And then if you guys would like to partake in the bracelet shenanigans, I ordered some cute little charms. Supposedly they shipped. They could get here next year for all we know. So if you guys would like to partake in any of that, definitely send me a message over. Can you send messages through? How old am I? Can you send messages through YouTube? I don't think you can. Send addresses through. That's a good question, actually. We could do either TikTok or Snapchat. If you guys have the snaps, is still Jesselyn MUA. So remember the last time I tried to type my name into the box and I couldn't figure out why I kept lighting up my name? Because I'm an idiot. So Jesselyn MUA on Snap. And then let me spell out Saoirse because literally nobody can spell my name, including myself. And then, yeah, Saoirse River on TikTok. Okay. And those are probably the best ways to get in contact with me. And then if you guys have any questions, comments, or concerns, let me know. And then that's it. That's it. We're done. I'm out. We're done here. I'm not answering any more questions unless you send them to me on my platforms. Also, I have a friend who has a mental health channel. Let me pull it up one time. Because I already forgot. I actually looked it up. He actually sent me the link and I looked it up that way. And I should have saved it, but I didn't. It's called The Fox Den, and he does a lot of like mental health videos and things like that. He actually had an interview with Ready to Glare, whom I love. And he also had an interview with the Illuminati, who I also love. So you guys should definitely go check that out for sure. If you want more mental health goodness and shenanigans. And that's it. We're done. I'm out. Thank you guys so much for watching. I will see you later. Bye.